Greetings everyone. Well, it's closer look time on the Multimedia Chronicles. Today we're going to be checking out the Warner Archive releases of Pac-Man, the animated series which ran for 2 seasons back in 1982 and 1983 on ABC. It was produced by Hanna-Barbera and is notable in that it was the first ever cartoon based on a video game. Yeah, there's been quite a few since, but this is the first one. There were none before this. And it was actually a pretty big hit. About 20 million people watched it when it debuted, including both kids and adults, because I guess, well, it was a big novelty. Like, what? A cartoon based on a video game? And Pac-Man of all things? How was that even possible? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today on the Multimedia Chronicles. Welcome back. Now, of course, the original game of Pac-Man, how the heck could you make a show out of that? Well, obviously they couldn't just have a show of him running around a maze getting chased by ghosts and eating power pellets all the time, so they created something of a world and story around the existing characters. So it incorporated characters both from Pac-Man and Ms. Pac-Man, and created a place for them to live called Pac-Land. Yes, there were later games based on the concept of Pac-Land, including Pac-Land, which was very much directly inspired by the cartoon. And then later we had Pac-Man 2, which was another Pac-Land-oriented story, more action-adventure than just kind of running around the maze. But yeah, so the cartoon featured the adventures of Pac-Man, his wife, Pepper. The only time that I'm aware of that she actually had a name, she's only ever been known as Ms. Pac-Man in other media, Baby Pac, and later they introduced Super Pac, voiced by Lorenzo Music no less, and Pac-Man's teenage cousin, PJ. So the sort of ongoing conflict in the series is it's the adventures of Pac-Man dealing with the ghosts, Inky, Pinky, Binky, Clyde, and Sue, from, once again, both from Pac-Man and Ms. Pac-Man, and they're kind of the hench ghosts of Mesmeron, and Mesmeron is after the power pellets, which is essentially the food and power source for everybody in Pac-Land. If you think of it kind of like how Dr. Robotnik was always after the power rings that Sonic had, it's kind of that idea. So that's sort of the ongoing thing where, it's the latest plan of Mesmeron to get the power pellets from Pac-Land and sends the ghosts in, and, hilarity and hijinks ensue. So, supposedly, according to Wikipedia, there was a bit of a controversy about too much violence in the show in the first season. In particular, whenever Pac-Man would chomp one of the ghosts, or the ghosts would chomp Pac-Man. I mean, I don't think anybody actually had any problem with that. I can only think that if there was any controversy, it was very much manufactured by uptight parents groups or some nonsense like that. Ever since the days of Looney Tunes, they were always getting on the case of cartoons for being too violent and what have you. But it's freaking Pac-Man. Like, come on. I mean, they see them chomping each other in the cartoon. They're not thinking, oh my god, how violent, I'm gonna go chomp my little brother. No, they're thinking like, oh, like the video game. Because kids aren't dumb. They just don't get enough credit from these, like, uptight parents' rights groups. Anyway, whether or not that controversy is actually true or not is kind of up in the air. There doesn't seem to be any real cited sources for that. It's just kind of, I don't know. I thought it was worth mentioning anyway because I thought it was hilarious. The show ran for 2 seasons, 1982 and 1983, and was a big success. As I said, a lot of people watched it when it came out. So much so that the following year, rival network CBS decided to jump on the video game cartoon bandwagon with a little show called Saturday Supercade from Ruby Spears, Ruby Spears, of course, being former Hanna-Barbera employees that went off to form their own animation company as a rival to their former employers. But that's another story, perhaps for another time. So personally, I remember when this show came out. I was 10 years old at the time, and I just loved it. I thought it was a lot of fun. I didn't play the video game too much, but I mostly played Ms. Pac-Man. I guess just because that's what was in the arcade near me at the time. But and I had a little home arcade version of Ms. Pac-Man. It looked like a little mini arcade cabinet, but it was actually like kind of one of those LCD games, but in color. It was like a color LCD game kind of thing. Quite advanced for its day. Very cool. And those they did a few different arcade games in that form, but they're definitely considered collector's items now. I don't think I have it anymore unless it's in storage at my mom's place. I don't remember. But anyway, I played the heck out of that thing all the time. I can't remember exactly when that little arcade machine came out, but I'm pretty sure it was around the same time that the cartoon was on. So I really enjoyed the cartoon show and kind of obsessed over it a little bit because I remember Christmas that year. You know, being a kid and having no money, I wanted to be able to give Christmas gifts to my parents. So I made, I think it was like a Pac-Man board game or something for my dad, and I to accompany it, I actually recorded the theme song from the show on an audio cassette to play whenever we'd play the game. I don't know what happened to that board game. It's long gone. But I guess in my mind, it was just a way to kind of share something that I was passionate about and have something that my dad and I could play together. Anyway, let's head on down to the black table and we'll check out the Warner Archive release of Pac-Man, the animated series. Okay, now we have Pac-Man, Season 1 and 2. And this is the entire series. And it does include the Christmas Comes to Pac-Land Christmas special as well. So this is absolutely everything of Hanna-Barbera's Pac-Man series. So let's take a look at Season 1 here first. I really like this cover design here. We'll take a nice high-res look at it in just a moment. But very nice indeed. So we have all 13 episodes of Season 1. And if we open this up, this is actually quite nice. So it is, you know, they look like Pac-Man, which is cool. I like that disc design. And then, of course, this is a Warner Archive title, so it is actually burned DVD-Rs. And there you go. But that's okay. I don't mind. I've actually, they're very high quality DVD-Rs. I've never had playback problems with any of these, so it's very good. And then here we have Season 2, which I believe was a slightly shorter season. But carrying on the same cover design. I think it was 8 episodes, if I remember correctly, and then we have the Christmas episode as well. And there we go. And then oddly, they have it like this. So it's like, okay, do we orient it like that, or do we orient it like this? I'm inclined to go like this because, you know, it looks more Pac-Man-y that way. And there we go, the complete series of Pac-Man. And there you go. So, a very nice compact little set. And anybody wondering about the Halloween special? The Halloween special was just episode 4 of season 1. So everything is included in these 2 sets here. So you have the Christmas special on here, and then the Halloween episode is on here. It's just, you know, the 4th episode of the series with what was it, Pacula and Pack or Treat or Trick or Pack or so, I can't remember. Anyway, they're both together on that same episode. So if you want to have some Pac-Man Halloween fun, that's the one you want. And of course, if you want to get either of these for your collection, I will include Amazon links in the description below. Thank you very much to those of you who use those links, because it does help to support the show. Alrighty folks, well that's it from me to you for now. So until next time, thanks for watching, and sayonara.